Well, my name is Courtney, and I definitely wanted to share just some celebrations, but just a testimonial thanks to DYL Method of where I am so far. Um, Earlier this year, I was admitted into the hospital. I went in for extreme or severe hypertension. My blood pressure read 260 over 160, and that's extremely scary to have a reading like that. I definitely also was experiencing anemia, which means I was low on my energy because my blood count was so low. And so it was even hard for me to walk. I required a lot of assistance from my man. He had to kind of walk me around those days leading up to the hospital. So that was really challenging. Right before the hospital, I was also, because my blood pressure was so high, um, I also experienced macular degeneration, or just really temporarily blind. I couldn't see. So anybody who was like this close to me, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see details in their face. I couldn't even see details of my face. So also things like getting ready, getting dressed, it was hard for me to do. And then just, just feeling like, oh my gosh, going to the hospital was my only option, um, which sucks. But I went towards the end of February, and a lot of this was attributed to having a stressful job. But I went at the end of February and was admitted into the hospital, and it was seriously a nightmare to be in the hospital and feel very helpless with the information that I was receiving from the doctors, feeling like my condition was getting worse. And of course, that adding more stress to me and my body. When I went into the hospital, I had a creatinine level that read as high as 11, I think 0.64. And that just basically, means that my kidneys are they're shot and they're shut down. And I was fortunate to have support from my boyfriend, who is also in DYL Method, but he's doing it to support me and kind of lead me through the process. So we were talking while I was in the hospital, and I was just telling him that I don't feel like I'm getting any better. I feel like I'm actually getting worse. I was prescribed 3 different types of medication to take twice a day that I started taking in the hospital, and I just felt helpless. I felt very helpless. I actually was on dialysis in the hospital, which means that they had to kind of cut into my neck and everything like that. And that was stressful. It was painful. And I actually did treatments in the hospital, which also is very taxing on your body. And so that takes a lot out of your body. Those are anywhere from 2 to 4 hour treatments each time. And so when the doctor told me that I had to do dialysis, the doctor basically told me if I don't do this, I would die. And I felt like I had no choice because, I didn't know any better. So I would cry to my boyfriend while I was in the hospital. And he really went on a search to figure out how to find me the best of the best to get me out of this situation. So I'm thankful for him. And he found DYL Method. He found both Senna and Quilla, who lead DYL Method. And while I was in the hospital, we had a consultation, and that consultation was very insightful, very informative on the areas that I need to work on. And what they were going to do, they gave me a personalized plan on what they were going to do for me to make sure that I can start walking out of this. And so while I was still in the hospital, we started on a plan right away, even in the hospital, on things that I could do. And so um, I was in the hospital for about 8 days, which was 8 days too long. And upon my release on the eighth day, of course, the recommendation is from the doctors was to continue to do dialysis, continue to take my medication twice a day. And I was taking 3 different types of medication. And I have to take those twice a day. So um, I, I really didn't see a lot of change from what was offered from the hospital. I still could not see, so I was still temporarily blind. Everything was blacked out, so I couldn't drive for myself. I couldn't really do anything. I needed a lot of assistance from my boyfriend and my family to get around and do things. I still didn't have a lot of energy, so my hemoglobin was actually, or my blood count was still very low. So it was actually very hard for me to walk. And my kidneys still were taxed. I was still stressed out. And my kidney readings were actually still high, even though it went down. It was at a 10 point something, but that's still pretty high with little to no progress. So once I really got out and I was in an environment which is home to really start the DYL Method plan, started that. There are weekly calls. They happen twice a week. And from there, I really got to see and hear from other members what their experience was like, because it was kind of intimidating to start off um, on the things that were recommended by both Senna and Quilla for my plan towards healing and health. And I was a little intimidated. I was like, I don't know if I can do all of this, but they definitely come up with a plan for you. Um, and it's amazing the support that they offer, the guidance that they offer, but then also hearing testimonies weekly from other members in DYL Method. And so it actually really inspired me when I actually heard a member talk about her kidney process. And so I said, okay, or not just process, but also progress. So I said, okay, like there are people in here who are here for all different types of reasons, but there are some who are here for similar reasons and they're getting results. This is possible for me. So um, I I got out of the hospital, started listening to the DYL Method Zoom support calls and joining, and just listening at first before participating, and started learning a lot about how the body works. And it's definitely been informative and helpful. And I think when you have the information, you're able to make better decisions as to how you treat your temple. And the first 2.5 weeks I got out and was following the plan that Quilla and Senna put together for me, my creatinine levels actually went down to a 8.8. And so that gave me some confidence to keep going forward. And I started to get my vision back. My eyes were actually like glued shut at one point, and it was literally like this, and I couldn't see. Um, and then when they did start to open, the white parts of my eyes were actually kind of gray, but now they're kind of clearing up and they're becoming white again. So, and then I can actually see. So I'm actually thankful for that. I'm walking on my own now. I have more energy, and the process has definitely been challenging, but not only do you get access to um, weekly calls that happen twice a week, you get access to so many things, and Quilla and Center are very accessible. They definitely want to make sure that you're doing good. I have never felt like I couldn't reach out to them. They're always there for me. And they're talking to me holistically about different aspects of health, which makes me feel really connected to them and why I'm doing DYL Method. And so one of the biggest celebrations that I want to give is I just did a blood reading yesterday, and my creatinine levels are now a lot lower, and they're at a 3.2. I still have a ways to go, but from 11 all the way down to 3.2 with what I'm doing with the DYL Method in just 2 months, to have my vision back, to have energy back, to have knowledge, and to get my hypertension under control. And so anybody who is interested in, just getting support, but then also getting results from a methodology that works from two individuals who are really passionate about people. I really believe that Quilla and Sen are passionate about people, but they're really passionate about people who care about their health. That is something that I feel like is priceless, and the support and the knowledge that they have is it's really unmatched. I haven't found anything like this, and especially to have these kind of results in about 2 months, in comparison to what I was feeling right after being in the doctor's office, is amazing. And let me tell you, the other thing I think is a byproduct of the work that we've been doing is my skin. Do you see this glow? Okay. Do, do you see this natural glow? It's from the results and the work that we're doing. And I'm just really excited to share this testimony, not only for people who are interested in their health, but for those who are in DYL Method to, just keep going with it. Keep going with it. I'm rooting for everybody, and I definitely think you can get where you want to be with this program. So thank you, Quilla and Senna and DYL Method.